Good afternoon, everybody. It is episode 16 of The Correction today. And today I'll be streaming to you from an Airbnb with a bit of an odd setup. So I got to say, I'm really hoping that, the audio and everything goes well. I've got my mic here, but all kinds of long story short, basically the internet is weird in different parts of this house. And so I ended up in my room with the laptop, and yeah, it should be fine. So, of course, check in with me in the YouTube chat. With a bit of an odd setup. So yeah, sounds like okay. So sounds like the YouTube chat and stream is coming through with a decent amount of volume. So that's great. Say hello in the YouTube chat if you hear me. And for now, we'll actually close this one. Just get myself sorted out here. I am on one screen, and it is a laptop. It's the first time for old RT. Now, without further ado, let's get to a screen share. Should be able to share my full screen today, which is kind of exciting because I never get to do that. I think, actually, for simplicity's sake, I will share the Google Chrome. All right. And I'll shrink it just a little bit. Stretch it out here. All right, let's start off with the old Bitcoin. So today you may have noticed I was posting in the Discord about a little setup that I saw evolving on Bitcoin. Now, it's funny because today is one of those days where Don and I are just 100% on the opposite side of a trade, which doesn't happen often. But because we use different TA styles, sometimes he can get the perfect short setup and I can get the perfect long setup. And over the long term, we can still both be profitable. But for today, we are not seeing eye to eye. And so I'll take a look and show you what I'm seeing. Now, you know that I like to look for 3 reasons based on the TRI method that I was taught. Now, we've got location, which in this case is the RLZ off this move. Now, you can draw a lot of different reload zones, right? I mean, you could draw from the entire space, a higher time frame reload zone. This is sort of like a nice double bottom where a second, right, you have your consolidation and another rally beginning. So to me, this is a valid place to start a fib. And as you can see, price had been respecting it quite a bit along the way. So you ended up with sort of a move off the RLZ here. You got a little bit of SR level forming, lots of trade activity here. You can see this node. In fact, that's the point of control if you look at it from here, right up on that 382, which tells me that this is a valid fib. And now we've gotten a little zoom in here. You'll see we came right in. And this 702, this sweet spot, as I call it, has been holding up price really nicely. And we got a hard move down the other day, as many of you remember, right to 9K. Hopefully not too many people shorting there, getting stuck underwater, trying to play the breakout. Here was a high-low trend line that I had drawn weeks ago. And sure enough, price has just been kind of trickling down that as well. Now, I just drew this downtrend line here today to see, and sure enough, that was sort of what smacked this down. So for now, for a higher time frame long, you may want to just wait for this to break. Maybe get some bullish market structure on the other side and then find a new setup. But here's what I'm seeing. We are in this RLZ. We've got sort of a double bottom right off the sweet spot, very clear here. And we broke this neckline on the 4-hour. So once this closed above, to me, that's a go signal for a long. You've got your bullish divergence on the MACD. Now, arguably, this is not confirmed yet, right? If you want to wait for a confirmation of a bullish divergence, not only do you want to see it, but you want to see it flip back to green and go above the previous sort of green space there. So, yeah, arguably I'm a little early here, and we may find out that I was early and end up getting stopped on this trade as I placed my stop loss just below the sweet spot. So if it comes down and taps again. Now here's actually a closer look. I've been charting it on Bybit directly. So here's my transparency account. As you can see, I've already longed off of here. I'm sad to say in my scramble to set up today's stream, I hadn't actually placed my bids. Remember, I mentioned in my channel I was going to ladder a couple down to this RLZ, stopping out at new lows down here. That would just invalidate this setup, and I'd want to hunt something else. So I was a little, a little sad to see just now as I came onto the stream that in fact that. Oh, let me just, okay. Yeah, I was a little sad to see that this has in fact tapped perfectly at 9,500, which is where I was kind of eyeballing to get some more longs up. I've placed one here, which is at the 13 EMA. So, you know, still bullish if this wants to chop around. We've got to close in 25 minutes. Okay, now this is really bullish if this thing will come down here, you know, pick up that demand, pick up that liquidity, then come up and close above this neckline, which is where the breakout. Okay. I will lose a little bit of confidence in this setup if we close below here. And that may actually happen live on the stream today. We'll find that out. We can see how that develops. For now, I have a feeling we're going to be closing north. I have a feeling that I'm not going to get filled here. And like I said earlier in the channel, if I end up with a 5K long here, that's okay. As you can see here, I was willing to go that large if I could fill bids way below. I guess a note from my journal would be when you see this setup, really iron it out before you get distracted and do other stuff. Like, kind of a funny thing today. So I'm actually in Vancouver. I'm at a 1 week long annual meetup for the trade school that I'm in. And so I'm just like surrounded by, excellent traders and a lot of smart, people, guys that are writing algos and all these things. So it's a really interesting week, and I'd love to share with you in next week's stream sort of a summary of what I learned, what we did, all that stuff, and yeah, just kind of share some of the tidbits. I found out a really interesting site. In fact, I can just tell you the name of it now. It's really more for people who are using algos, but it's pretty cool. It's called bookmap.com. Apparently, on there you can get information like where it's like an in-depth look at the books on BitMEX. So you can see, well below what BitMEX site will actually show you. You can see where the orders are all lined up. You can see how certain algos are moving price around. The guy talking to me about it, telling me about it, he, he's fascinated with it, and he uses it a lot for his own algos that he programs. And more importantly, what I found was interesting is you can actually look up where all the stop losses are. So you can actually see liquidity pools in the books using bookmap.com. So, I mean, that's an interesting tool. It's $100 a month or something. I have not looked into it myself. So if you happen to go do some research and you find something and you want to tell me, shout it out. That'd be great. But definitely something I'll be interested in, because I kind of figured that was super, super secret private information that only BitMEX had access to. But apparently not. So bookmap.com could be a cool tool. And if it is, I'll surely be vetting it and then sharing it in the Discord more and more. Now, let's jump over to some altcoins. AGI. Got a nice little alert today on AGI. You may remember from a few weeks ago, this is the 4 hour, so this is actually back on July 23rd. Started its real breakout rally, arguably, I guess, here, just above over here. So this was a nice little rally on volume on July 22nd, okay? So obviously we're not buying up here. That's a terrible place to go long, but you would bet that I'm drawing that fib, I'm seeing that retrace, and then sure enough, we've come in here, and this is what you want to see. Excuse me, what I want to see. You may want to see this or that. Which reminds me, before I forget, I'm just going to fire off this little disclaimer so I don't get in trouble. The information provided by Bitcoin Bravado and accompanying material is for informational purposes only and should not be used as a basis for any investment or other purposes. It should be not considered legal advice or financial advice. The information is governed by our terms of use, and you should consult with an attorney or other professional to determine what may be the best for your individual needs. We are not registered investment advisors. I certainly am not, and we are not recommending, and I am not recommending that you buy anything. Okay, I'm really just here talking about what I'm doing in the market. And I know from experience that watching other people work in the market can really help me with my stuff. So I hope that today, watching what I'm doing may help you develop some of your own ideas. Okay? So here we go. I noticed that this harsh move off of volume was retracing. So I drew the fib and I set some alerts. Now, sure enough, as we got here, price is making lower lows, MACD is making higher lows. Now, we've got a potential MACD divergence. Technically, this would have to go above this level here, according to some. I think that's like the cleanest bullish divergence. Personally, once it flips back green, if I see everything else I like, sometimes I'll just go for it. I have not back tested that. Is it higher probability, lower? You know, if you wait for it to confirm the bull dip, do you miss most of this move and it's up here? I don't know. But personally, if I see everything else falling into place, I will just get long. Now, AGI is one that I've been watching for a long time. I really like the project. I like the idea. I may have a slight bias because one of their co-founders is in one of my favorite documentaries called Transcendent Man. He's an extremely smart individual. It's all to do with artificial intelligence, basically, as a worldwide network and marketplace sharing artificial intelligence information. In other words, a place where artificial intelligence can communicate and share. And I think that's going to be a big key part of the development of AI. So I'm excited about the project. Definitely plays into my bias, so be aware of that. But it's been a while, and as you can see, there's tons of upside just on a counter trend rally if this is a breakout that kind of announces a midterm reversal. Okay. Now for alts, Bitcoin shooting up into the 12K area again, probably not so great for alts. Now it may be an opportunity. Sometimes what you see is this breakout in alts, and Bitcoin rallies and they all retrace, but then Bitcoin continues its downtrend and then they go off, right? Alt seasons, alt rallies, they're not necessarily straight lines, right? You get a lot of sometimes even multi-day and up to a week of this retrace where people are thinking sell, but then you realize that was just a retrace to continue. So if Bitcoin rallies here, I am long on it. That doesn't necessarily negate some kind of alt rally, but it certainly would put it on pause for things like REN and Link to come back down to earth a little bit and sort of hit their RLZs, stuff like that. Whereas a lot of other alts, and we'll scan a few of them today, but a lot of them are James McKee. Hey, how's it going? Yes, good to see you. Now, let's see what we're going to do with AGI. I'm thinking about waiting on this 4-hour close, which is about 18 minutes away. So a lot of different things are going to confirm around during the stream, which is nice. What I saw here is you have this bullish market structure, right? Sort of a W forming. And there's your neckline, and it happens to also align with the 702, and we got a clear breakout of there today. A fairly strong move. Again, new highs on the volume since that initial breakout, right? Bull, bull, bear, 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 bull, and the bulls kind of woke up here. That tells me that they're going to be defending this area. There's a decent probability that this is a reversal area. And so I'd like to get long. Do I buy here? Do I buy here? No. So I'm waiting. And the fun thing with fibs is you can actually just draw them infinitely. So let's just see, for fun, if we can catch an entry off this tiny fib. Well, we actually already had, so after that close, and then that move, let's see if we drill in a little to the 1 hour. I think we've already had that dip. Yeah, not really. I mean, it kind of went up, set where our fib is, and it hasn't come back down necessarily, unless it did it in like a heartbeat on 15 minutes. No. So we got that move. Once this fib was set, we haven't come back down yet. I'd say that we're going to touch here. That would be my guess. Around the 300s is what I was eyeing. But is this all just nitpicking? Right? What is that? That's 4%. I mean, that's a decent amount. May want to ladder. I may want to. Point is, if we close bullishly on this 4 hour, I will be getting long on AGI. Nothing crazy, not a big, massive, life-changing wealth attempt, but definitely going to just get a little bag, set a trade, and probably stop myself out in a place where I can get 2-to-1 to the short RLZ of this move. So let me show you what that means. I'll draw my fib. Here's where I want my first take profit, because as much as I'd love to say, huh? Oh dear. Am I back? I think I just got booted off. All right, I think we're back. I just got booted off Zoom. Somebody else is trying to sign into that. Bunch of noobs. I'm going to see if I can just give a quick shout out to them to Matt. All right, so whoever that was, I respectfully ask them not to do that. So let's see. Should be able to keep going and double check that YouTube is back on. And we are. Good. All right, so here we are. Yeah, really looking for a 2-to-1 RR. That's sort of the golden ticket for me as far as getting 50% of your position closed, and then moving stop to break even. It's a nice way to trade. You could have a stop right down here. Really, it shouldn't go visit there. The thing is, you know, those little wicks, and I hate that stuff. If I was looking for another good invalidation point, I might say, so okay, so let's just say I'm looking for that. So where can I go? It's up to at least 2-to-1. So yeah, I could have it as low as here, still have my 2-to-1 while having that target. That's likely how I would set this up. And that's if I'm entering at spot. If I'm going to enter down here, where I think I might get a retest, I can actually have my target here. I could have my up to my 2-to-1. Where's my 2-to-1? It's all the way down here. Right? So that's around a 2-to-1. Probably don't need this wide to stop. Right? I really don't think so. This is the market structure breakout. Here's your neckline. I don't really want to see price back down. Now, there's a really cool tool on 3 commas where it has a delayed timer on a stop loss. So you can actually have a smart stop or something it's called, and it wicks. And if it wicks down, if it triggers, it starts a 5-minute timer. If price is still trading there or below in 5 minutes, it'll close. So sure, you could get nuked, and that's the risk, but it might protect a lot of stop losses for those quick liquidity grabs. And within 5 minutes or 5 seconds, it's just gone back up, and your stop doesn't trigger. And you can, of course, set that to 1 minute, 30 seconds, 5 minutes. So I had used that a couple times via 3 comma. I don't use it right now. I did a 3-day trial, and I just was like, oh, this is cool, but I probably won't use it much, so I didn't sign up. But for those of you who are on 3 commas, those time stop losses, that's probably my favorite idea that they had. I'd probably end up with my stop loss around here, around 11%, 10% loss. Still waiting on my entry. I don't think I'll chase this one. It's like 5 sats. So, you know, after the stream, I'm going to check Binance, see what the books look like. If I think that 5 sats will hit, I'm just going to take it. It may open like a 25% ladder down. So I haven't fully decided, but I'm definitely interested in AGI. I mean, you've got a huge downtrend, this reversal confirmation. Now you've got another little reversal confirmation. There's risk in everything, but I like this risk reward. Let's see. Lib says, as I understand it, this is your main strategy, right? But you use other strategies at times. Yeah, so generally speaking, I like 3 different reasons to get a trade. That's what I was taught. That's sort of the system that I learned. There are other strategies. Not a lot that I use regularly. You know, sometimes I'll break my own trading plan or break away from it just to work with things that I see from the other analysts. So Bravado wise, you know, sometimes I'm just working with them and they're like, here's my setup. I'm like, oh, that looks clean. I'll take that as well. But for myself, you know, it's location, divergence, market structure. Location, divergence, market structure. Get your 2-to-1. I'm still in that early stage of trading, and I say early, like a year or 2 in. You know, at 10 years, 5 years, I would imagine I will have a very ironclad sort of way that I know how to make money in the market, and I just focus on that. Because the dream for me personally is to simplify. All right, have something that's robotic, and every time you see it, you have the confidence to take it, even though it might backfire 40% of the time, and you're hitting 60% of the time with a 2-to-1, and you're golden. And you're just slow grinding and compounding gains, blah, 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 blah. That's my dream, my plan. So for now, it's sort of like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is what I look for. And yeah, you get less setups, right? You get less setups when you're looking for all these reasons. But once you find sort of momentum indicators disagreeing with price, also known as divergence, you've got your oh, look, I'm buying when it's oversold, right? A lot of people get stuck accidentally buying when it's overbought, right? So avoiding all those little things can up your numbers in the long run. So let's see, yeah. So there you go, Libs. So that's AGI. Let's take a look over at Nano. Getting a lot of questions about Nano today. I know we had a setup out on that. It isn't necessarily bearish, but that particular setup for me was invalidated, and I'll share with you why here. We broke out on the daily, closed above this neckline, which to me is okay. We're confirming a potential bottom. Let's look to long the retest. And that retest came down and it missed us. So it should have, if bullish, ideally, we were just looking to see continuation, but we didn't. We actually got sort of a double top here. And on the lower time frames, you can actually see this double top come in, right? Price failed. This was actually a nice little short RLZ here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but not that you can really short this stuff, but as far as getting out of your position or whatever. But classic case of coming down, checking that 76. Just another example of why I love fibs. But we ended up with sort of a double top here, and it actually will confirm, may have just confirmed on this 4 hour, because here was your neckline, broke down. Now it's almost like in bearish retest mode. So yeah, I mean, on a high time frame, Nano is still above neckline, still potentially, it could come here and just bounce. But on the lower time frames, I was just seeing a little bit of double toppy, sort of bearish market structure, and therefore that particular setup, exactly as it was drawn, is invalid, and it could just wait for a freshie. Okay. Now look, this could come down in here, stay generally bullish, and continue on. It could develop a range here and just basically wash out every trader who's trying to get long, short, long, short, long, short, whatever. There's just not as clean a setup here that I'd like to see. So, if we bounce here, then, and it takes off and it's like, oh, we were right, it was perfect. That's okay. I mean, sucks a little bit, but, our take profit's just right here. That could happen. But it's also very possible off this little bit of shorter time frame, small time frame bearish market structure that we might actually just trickle down, tap this POC, this 618, tap this 200 MA, right? There's a lot of things that I think might pull it down here, which is our stop. But a setup like this, suddenly, right, getting better RR. So for me personally, this was like close, wait and see. We're still over 2 if we go to lows. So perfect world now, I guess. Daily close back above here and a little move up. And then in that case, this is a nice strong support. You can almost just draw a stop up to there, right? And just have a new setup that stays above here if this is going to not break down. And then, of course, like any other time, if it just completely misses and we canceled it and it was oops, that's going to happen, right? Nobody knows what's going on in the market. These are all guesses based on analysis. Personally, what I'd like to see now, since I'm not long and I'm not planning to get long here, would be a nice juicy retrace shakeout, maybe get some bullish market structure down here, break it, and now we've got a much tighter invalidation level and obviously more upside potential. My 2 thoughts, my 2 cents on Nano. So that's it. Yeah. I mean, looking at this, honestly, I could see, what about this? What if it's like, oh, well, this was front run, there wasn't enough liquidity and demand picked up, so we're just going to go back down, grab it, maybe even like stop out some of these neckline stop losses, tap this 13 EMA, and then take off. That's possible. Not out of the question. But again, double top negates for now. So depends what kind of trader you are. Now, would I go maybe just take 1% and slip it in here so that technically I can risk it infinitely and stay within my risk parameters? Sure, if I'm a huge Nano fan and I have mad FOMO, but I don't think it's really FOMO season, to be honest. Bitcoin's in the washing machine. A lot of these alts are just counter-trending rallies and then back. I don't think there's any reason to believe we're on the edge of like a monster face rip rally. And if we are, there will be stops along the way for new setups. So This looks clean. If it's a clean tap and then like a nice bullish close today, I may actually consider just adding that 1% in and just kind of getting a small ride up. But again, the next clean setup I see to that, or right back down into here, which would kind of negate this whole thing. So don't love Monero just this second. RVN. RVN is in an interesting spot. We had a nice inverse head and shoulders that we shared the other day. Coming up here to the neckline, got rejected right here, and is now kind of coming back down. Same situation as now, testing that neckline. We've got a lot of these higher time frame neckline tests going on in alts right now. I'd like to see it stay above here, obviously. Otherwise, we're in a similar situation to Nano, where we're probably just going to head down for a nice full reload, at which point there's a fresh setup waiting. So this stop is currently here, but if we get a daily or 4-hour even close below here, we may look to reconsider. I don't even like the idea of closing it just to long it down here. I'm very bullish on RVN as far as one of the alts that will do well if there's a rally. It's sort of at the top of my list. So I may either add, stretch the stop loss. Like there's a few options here that I'll be looking at. But of course, as a bull, I really want to see this level hold. I mean, it should. If bullish, it should hold. If Bitcoin breaks out, goes way up, that'll be the case for a lot of these to come in and do their little retraces. But it's interesting because a lot of people, when these necklines break, they'll be thinking, more new lows. Whereas personally, I'm not seeing new lows until this closes and breaks. So you can kind of shake out here, stay bullish, get some reversals, some divergence, market structure, off we go. So not too freaked out about either of these scenarios. Definitely just kind of keeping an open mind on alts right now. Let's see the short list here. Short list is pretty long. See if there's anything in particular. AGI or AE is suddenly looking up, right? We've got some of these W's coming in. Breakout, neckline retest, moving on. Haven't longed any of them. I'm currently not actually in our algo trade, mostly because I was just off that day that we put it out, and I'm not quite seeing the confirmation personally that I see. I know Don and Cheese had a whole thing about it, and I didn't actually get to watch that. So I'd say just stick to whatever they're talking about. For me personally, I'm bullish after 641 closes. Having said that, the RR here is great in the sense that your invalidation is pretty chill right here, right? I mean, if the upside is monstrous and your stop loss is whatever, 10% off, like that's pretty good RR. So I actually don't know sort of the setup that they were talking about. I missed that, unfortunately. As is the way of the world, as they're probably not watching the stream. I sometimes don't watch theirs. Let's take a look down this list real quick. Ardor, same kind of thing. It's been rallying up. It's not actually as overbought as I would have expected. It's cooled off. We did get a bit of a double top almost here, but definitely some strong bearish divergence. So if anything on Ardor, the same old story, right? Looking for a little location somewhere down around here. Look for that bullish divergence as it comes in. Market structure, never know. I think we're going to see a lot of that if this counter trend rally that I'm hoping for is going to be the thing. We're definitely going to see some of these like initial breakouts retrace before they take off, and that's where I'm really going to get aggressive within my risk parameters. Now here we've got Blue Zell. It's another name that I like for some reason. I kind of forget why, other than that I just like the market structure of it. Way back when, and now it's just on my short list indefinitely. It's testing a neckline or sort of a key SR level here. I imagine it'll get rejected because it's getting exhausted up here. It looks like we're seeing some of this, right? Lower lows on this MACD. Overbought, just coming down off overbought, but the OBV is rising, right? So on balance volume is kind of shooting up still. But, strong break here. Actually, I'll set an alert. Let's get an alert. 481, because I would like to be reminded if that's going to have a nice strong breakout, there will be a nice neckline there too. So if that triggers, we'll catch that retrace. I'll be looking for that. EQX, I don't even know what this coin does, but it does have some decent bullish market structure forming, shown here. I have this on here. I haven't longed it, but it's sort of like the loose idea. Same kind of thing, right? So much correlation between alts, right? Same kind of thing. We got the SR coming up, test, test, fail, fail. Nothing too crazy just yet. So this is not valid. I was playing around the other day. Down to the bread. I actually got a bread wallet the other day. It's pretty sweet. And holding bread wallet tokens, it's like 2,000 of them or something, gives you like reduced fees on their trading. But I mean, who wants to just swap trade on their phone? I don't know. Personally, I don't think most traders would do that. So I'm not sure the catalyst for the needing to own this token. But it's definitely a pretty good wallet. I highly recommend. I quite enjoy it. But apparently they have a lot more coming, right? Fiat off-ramp on it, basically like a bank in your phone. So maybe I'm crazy and this is the bottom. I don't know. Seller, not that excited about it at all. If it closed above here, I'd be excited. Let's set that alert, 106. If anyone's wondering, this is what I call an alt scan. When I say I'm going to go scan the alt market, I just kind of go down my short list. Sometimes I'll go right back out to the full Binance and Huobi lists, but this is just the ones I've gathered for now. This is actually Binance only. I only recently added a Huobi watch list, and I'll start scanning those as well once I'm back home. Yeah, another one I don't really know what this token is, so I have a hard time longing it, but we are seeing their moving averages come close to crossing the 200 MA, which could be bullish. Lagging indicator, but if they cross bullish, that will, say a lot. Let's start hunting setups. If they get rejected here, we're looking at that retrace down here, same as usual. Doge, flatline Magoo, looking like, what was that coin? Key over here, used to be flatline. So we are out of Doge as far as I know, but just other opportunities we'd like to look at. If you're a Doge guy, this is location. I don't know about all the rest though. Dusk, just a new coin I wanted to watch. I have no real bullishness on this coin, but I added it to my short list to keep an eye on it. More to remind myself to research it. An interesting idea. Something to do with securitizing or digitizing the traditional equities markets, which is an inevitable thing that's going to happen. So if anyone wants to do it, that might be cool. No idea what their token does or why they need a blockchain. I guess just for that whole digitizing thing. Enigma broke out. Yes! Been waiting on Enigma. Okay, cool. Didn't quite hit my alert. My alert is up here. But as you can see, and I was chatting about this the other day, yeah, so we had Enigma kind of forming this little wedge, right, where it's making lower lows. So you might be like, well, that's whack. But if you look at it as sort of a wedge, suddenly that's like some potential bullish. And then I saw it came up here, and I expected this to be harsh. And I was posting the other day about how I was, I was impressed that it came right up to visit. And sure enough, poked its little head out, breaking this downtrend. I would like to see bullish market structure form on this side of the wedge, right? I mean, unless it's just going to be a big FU spike, in which case there's no trade there. But yeah, if we could get some of this bullish market structure forming on the other side of this downtrend line to really confirm that this is dead, right? If you get too eager, this could just go wham and close down here, and now like that's not a breakout at all. So really waiting for that market structure on the other side to fire is prudent here, as far as I would say. Engine, yeah, ENJ looks like it's having a nice day. So shout out to Don, because he's been on this one. I believe he's still on it. And yeah, and I would have been too. There, you get your bullish market structure, you got your retest, and now it's going. 200 MA is going to give it a fight for now, but definitely. I mean, remember this one, right? This was the Samsung pump of the spring. Right? Everything Samsung's going to pump. Wow, what a monstrously delightful retrace. And yeah, if it's ready for round two, this could fly. I don't know if I'm going to say like I would long it now. I'd like to see how it resolves here. I haven't done a ton of analysis on it myself, but definitely one that I'll keep on this short list. ETH, BTC, yeah, not bearish. It's not as bearish as it was. Like, God, look at that thing. New lows, new lows. I could do a bigger, higher time frame. Look at this one. It would be probably more valuable. But for now, waiting for this line here. Close above here to me. Nice key level above. I believe that's just like the old pivot low from Binance. Yeah. So, I mean, it's lost that. If it regains that, I'll come back and hang out with ETH. Until then, womp womp. But of course, alt will do well if ETH does well versus BTC. Still sort of a thing. Maybe less so, but it is until it isn't, and it so far still is. GTO is actually in that RLZ, it looks like, or approaching off of its little breakout. Yeah, so yeah, a little bullish market structure. Are we going to get a divergence here? We are, right? So you've got your higher lows in the MACD, you've got your lower lows in price. If this flips green and exceeds right here, you've got your confirmed bullish divergence. We are oversold, so that's an area to consider longing, right? So all these reasons together, right? I don't just buy all the embedded red and sell all the embedded green, because this can stay oversold for a long time while price goes down. But I'm seeing some signs here that I like. So actually GTO, let's just get a nice cheeky quick alert here at 182. So if it gets any juice here, and I actually want to know if it's going to break below there too, so 173. So this is tight. I'm probably going to get this alert today. I'll remind me to check back in on it. But I like this. There's a setup emerging slowly. Gifto is one of those ones picked by Tika back in the Palm Beach days too, as sort of an online gifting. You know, I read his whole report. He's quite bullish potential there, so I like it fundamentally. It's also an old Binance launchpad, so they like it, and they like to pump stuff that they like. So it's just, that's one of the reasons fundamentally it's on my short list. Now it seems to be showing a potential. Let's see what that breakout volume looked like on the daily. That's a key area. Yeah, not huge. Decent volume here, decent volume way up there. But as you can see, just new lows. So you get that higher time frame divergence. Sort of, yeah. A small one here, slightly higher, much lower. Didn't quite. Well, I guess if this is where you're checking your confirmation, we did get it. So yeah, wouldn't have longed here, but this retrace is interesting. This to new lows, 2 to 1. Probably an easy 382 tag on a 2 to 1 right here. So that's a tight way to play it. Consider that something. This is just real loose and dirty, but something like this. Yeah, 4 to 1. Wow. So yeah, definitely some interesting potential in Gifto, but I would like to see more buyer interest. And right now, the buy volume is just trending down. Now, as volume dies, sometimes that signals the end of a move. And then you get like a spike in volume to signal reversal. So there's that. But nice tight alerts for now, and we'll revisit this one as soon as they trigger. ICX had the wedge going, yep. Tons of upside just to a retrace here, but doesn't get that same breakout that ENG had. I'm waiting here, but we did get the nice 618 tap. I wouldn't be shocked to see this kind of load up a bit here and then maybe break out down there. Again, waiting for that bullish market structure on the other side to really reduce risk because alts are still very bearish as a general rule. No need to jump the gun. Link went right down to test that classic 61.8. Thought this might hold, right? There was some indecision here, right? Held, but these lower and lower bounces were a clear sign that it was probably just going to drop off. I mean, that's too much too fast. I don't care if you're going to be the oracle for every blockchain ever. It's just too much too fast. Sellers will sell, traders will sell, profits will be taken. Weekends will shake out here at a loss in many cases, and we'll see if we can get some bullish market structure here and then get going. No rush on Link. Mana, not too much to say there. Bing, boom, bop. Same kind of thing. Matic. Yeah, I set up a Matic potential here. I don't like these lower bounces, and here I'm guessing now that, I mean, bulls have got to step in here. If they're not stepping in here, I don't want anything to do with Matic for a while. Some potential there. Bing, bing. If it came right up, right, broke out, retest, go. But for now, it just looks like it's getting weaker and weaker support. Bulls have just fallen asleep here, so no love just yet. Ooh, and my nano, lovely nano. Still, yeah. I mean, I'm tempted to just say like I want to get a bid in here because it just didn't quite reach it. So maybe that's why we're putting in for liquidity. But I wouldn't want to stop all the way down here. If I'm going to catch a bid here, I just want it to hold right there. Without a wick out, so I'll probably get something like tight. So, and I just don't love that as much. It seems riskier. It seems like higher chance to get wicked, higher chance to get just dumped right through. You know, there's still some chance of a tap and go, but Nano does know how to go hard, though, as we know from his story. But they've also got a lot of development going on. Interesting tweet the other day about them being spent at a kiosk. So Nano is sort of a potential world currency because it's got so much speed and scalability. So there's stuff there, but might regret this yesterday. It'll be like next week. It'll be like, wow, so long Nano. But again, I already went over why I think that's a value for me. But as you can hear, I have some of my doubts. Hey there, Cyberfunk. How's it going? Nice to see you in the stream. So that kind of does it for the alt scan. I guess we've got a couple left here on my short list. Qdom, not that sexy. I just saw this market structure break. It closed above, but as you can see, it's just kind of got back down. So no harm, no foul. Didn't get long. I probably won't now. Ren, eating it today. It did keep going to new highs. I didn't think it would, but it did. And if we look at it actually on the Huobi charts, that's where you're going to get your history. And that's what you need to see right now because that's the only place that shows this. Let's see. Are we? Okay, so here, I mean, here's a key level. And have we closed below it? Yeah. Yeah, we've closed below it, and we're sort of getting bearish retest today. So I wouldn't be shocked. You know, we're not stupidly overbought, but we're pretty close. I wouldn't be shocked to see a little more pullback here. At least, you know, oh, well, where's this? Is that a 382? First top? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, first stop is a really popular area for a lot of rallies. Oh man, this fib's not even drawn. I had to update it. You know. So first stop is here. Yeah, bearish retest on it. So probability now pointing towards a 0.5. So about 1,000 sats. And if that gets lost, sometimes you see this, it bounce up, test that again, then lose it. So, I mean, in general, when everyone's talking about something and it's just the next biggest thing, I just don't want to buy it. That's usually when the public mania is there and the smart money is just shaking themselves, getting out, selling off after accumulating down here. So I'd like to see the usual. So move back into here. Some of that bullish divergence showing that this down move is stopped and get down. And yeah, I don't have particular need to get in on that. If I can, it's great. If I can't, whatever. I think there's more promising options. Let's see, Juan. Yeah, Juan kind of made a move. Actually, all the Interop Alliance coins did. Aeon, Juan, and ICX. They all had their little bull breakout retest, but really wanted to see it get up here, and it has not. So not too exciting. All right. So I think that's it for the altcoin scan. Let's see how our Bitcoin closed. Doesn't look too hot, actually. I might even just close my position and wait. So I was playing off this. Well, let's see. You argue that that's your neckline. Yeah, closed below after a nice long tap right off the POC here. Let's see the chart I was actually really charting out was here. Yeah. So, I mean, this was really the spot to load up. I got long at the neckline. I hadn't set the bid here, as I explained at the start of the show. I think I'm going to cancel this bid. I don't like it enough. If it comes back down here, I'm actually just, you know, more bearish. In fact, with this hard drop into sort of quote unquote demand or potential liquidity where there's a lot of bids reloading, if I'm really bullish here, I don't really want to see a whole lot down here. But it is a higher time frame trade off of a 4-hour, and it's a small position. If it stops out here, it's like not very much at all, actually. I think 1 or 2% of this particular account. So I'm just going to leave this one because I want to see how it develops. This is still pretty strong bullish market structure. And I guess on the daily, that could still close bullish. Maybe I'm just hunting now. I shouldn't do that. Yeah, not really. So I'm going to keep it small, low risk. And if it comes down, then so be it. It's like $200. What else? There was one Bitcoin chart. Oh yeah, the super Gann. I'm going to take a very quick look at Gann before I get off. I've got to run actually. But let's see. And downtrend. It's the one you may remember from some of our analysis updates. Let's see how it's doing. Yeah, so I mean, it's just plowed back into this next diagonal channel. But as you can see, that's not a guarantee. It's happened here, got rejected each time. So we very easily could just get rejected here. If we get confirmed in here and make any more move up, these percentages will obviously change. I'll probably be shifting this down to like a 40, up to a 50. You know, I'm adjusting these as we go, and I still do think there's a 10% chance we're up here. Right? Just face rip. But within another day, this is going to be down to almost 0%. Right? And the funny thing is, quick shout out to probability theory. If this hits, many would say, well, this was wrong because it said 50 here, but really it didn't. I mean, it's like the weather, right? If they say 10% chance of rain and it rains, they're not wrong. Just improbable, right? 1 out of 10 times they said it might rain. And so you can't really call right or wrong on these probabilities because none of them say 0. So any of them could happen, and that would still validate this. So I use it as sort of just a bias check. And right now, that close I don't love. So you may win this round, Don, with your short, because he is correct. It was a swing failure pattern, right? Shot up, got rejected below here. Liquidity grab, and down we go. That's his theory, and it's frankly not a bad idea. But I just trade my setups, and my setups fall for a long here. Now this close below, I don't know. I'm going to get offline. Sometimes when I'm not on the air, I think things differently. But if I do close it up, I'll be sure to post to my channel. But I've got to run. I've got a cool 20% left on my battery. We've been on for about 45 minutes. So without further ado, have a fabulous evening, everybody. And I will be sure to check in with you in the Discord. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great night. Bye for now.